Hello. Welcome to the 5th Annual Circular Austin Showcase. My name is Kat Moulton, and I coordinate the business innovation initiatives with the circular economy team at the City of Austin. Before we get started tonight, can I see a show of hands? How many of you is this your first time attending Circular Showcase? Awesome, about half of you. I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. This is also my first time attending, so we're in great company. Before we start the event, I want to thank our host tonight, the Cathedral. From 1938 to 2017, this space was home to the New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. In 2019, the Cathedral team started renovations to turn it into the gorgeous space that we're sitting in tonight. They made sure to preserve the building's historic integrity, and it still serves as a community gathering space for events like this, co-working, and even as an art gallery. We're really thankful for them to allow us to host this event here for the past several years, and we just want to show them a little extra love. Give it up for the Cathedral. Tonight's event focuses on businesses and entrepreneurs in the circular economy. So simply stated, a circular economy is a closed-loop system where materials are used at their best and highest use for as long as possible. This differs from a linear economy where most things end up in the landfill. A lot of people compare this to how nature works, where waste becomes a resource and it regenerates into something new. Prior to joining the city's circular economy team, I spent 15 years working at nonprofits for mission-driven organizations. When the opportunity came up to join the public sector, I'll admit I was a little bit hesitant. I really wanted my work to have an impact, and I wasn't sure that I would find that here at the city. After spending the last several months getting to know these businesses and these people with these great ideas of how to advance our circular economy, I can say that I was completely wrong. I'm so inspired by the work that they do, and I'm so glad to be working for a city that supports them. The city has a goal of reaching zero waste by the year 2040, and what that means is by then, 90% of materials are going to be kept out of area landfills. It's a very ambitious goal, and we can't do it alone. We need to have businesses and entrepreneurs like the ones that you're going to hear from tonight in order to meet that. One of the ways that we're doing that is through our Circular Accelerator program. Over the last 4 months, we had 7 businesses and entrepreneurs receive free business coaching and training. They attended workshops, and they got help refining their ideas. You're going to hear from 3 of them tonight who gained entry into this competition at a soft pitch event that we held just less than 2 weeks ago. They're going to be competing in their own division for a $2,000 prize. And this is who you'll be hearing from. After that, you're going to hear from 5 more established businesses. These are folks who have been in operation for at least 12 months. They have annual revenues between $35,000 and $250,000, and they're going to be competing against each other for a $10,000 grand prize. And these are the businesses that you'll be hearing from for that division. Looking ahead to 2026, we're changing things up a bit with our timeline. We're going to be opening applications this fall for the Circular Accelerator program here in just about 6 weeks. And the curriculum will take place from January to April of next year. And the good news is you won't have to wait a full year to be back here watching Circular Showcase because we're planning for it to take place in May of next year. All right, let's talk about tonight's program. Like I mentioned, we've got 2 different divisions for a total of 8 different pitches. Each competitor is going to have 4 minutes to give their pitch and then 4 minutes of question and answers with the judges. We're not going to do an audience Q&A tonight, but we really encourage you to connect with these businesses either after the break or when we're tabulating the scores. So I'd like to introduce our panel of judges for tonight. First up, we have Jeff Blickman, who is a director at Palm Venture Studios, an early-stage family office-backed firm in Austin. They're focused on business development, platform initiatives, and transaction execution. Previously, he was the founding director of Alturas Ventures and director of global impact at Carnival Corporation and PLC, drawing on 2 decades of experience in finance, product management, and strategic innovation to support purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Next up, we have Bart Bond. He supports researchers and entrepreneurs developing solutions to climate change and environmental sustainability. As a partner at ATP, he invests in early-stage deep tech startups tackling climate change. At Pecan Street, he develops energy research and demonstration projects, and then he also teaches entrepreneurship at the University of Texas. Sandy Eapen is a fractional sustainability leader and consultant with over 20 years of experience in helping companies design and advance their sustainability and social impact strategies. She is also an executive success coach for UT Austin's Sustainability Leadership Program. Previously, she founded and led ESG and sustainability at Coupa Software. She's also done consulting at BSR and held roles at American Express, Dow Chemical, and the United Nations Development Program. She serves on multiple nonprofit boards and advisory councils, including the Texas X's Sustainability Alumni Network, that is a mouthful, Keep Austin Beautiful, and the Asian Family Support Services of Austin. Pavithra Lamahewa is a product strategist and user experience leader with over 12 years of experience building AI-powered platforms across edtech, fintech, and sports tech. He is the founder of Raven Vision, an AI startup transforming athletic coaching. He also leads design at Precious Studio, a user experience consultancy that has helped over 50 startups scale with clarity and impact. And then last but not least, we have Nancy Lyon, who is the director of the Austin Community College Bioscience Incubator, where she works with entrepreneurs, economic development interests, academic institutions, and other stakeholders to support the life science economy. She manages a fully equipped leasable lab space that provides critical and otherwise cost-prohibitive infrastructure to emerging startups. She ensures that ACC is well represented in the community and that their students are prepared to work in the life science industry by providing them with a safe place to learn and to fail. She is a molecular biologist by training and a helpful problem solver by choice. Let's give it up for our judges. Okay, I think y'all have heard enough from me. We are going to jump into the accelerator division of tonight's competition. Remember, these are the folks that are competing for a $2,000 prize. First up, we have Concept to Consumption, Fashion and Technology, pitched by founder and CEO, Samuel Alexander Jr. Samuel Alexander Jr. has over 40 years of experience in global product development, sourcing, and innovation. With Concept to Consumption, he is uniting fashion, science, art, and technology to build on Austin's sustainability initiatives and advance a local circular economy. It's really hard to go first, y'all, so let's show some extra love to Samuel.
I want to thank everybody for coming. Most of you guys know me. I've been around the city quite a while. My goal is to make Austin the capital of fashion, sustainable, circular fashion and technology. And that's what I've been working on since I've been here in the city, and I've been here for the last 10 years. I was born and raised here. My family's been here since 1860, so we have a little history with the city. And some of the projects that I worked on, most of you know, this will be a continuation of one of the projects that I've already started here, and it's all based on helping the community become more sustainable. So I want to start out just going here, and I'll tell you a little bit about my company because I only got 4 minutes here. We work with smart factories, smart networks, smart products, and smart to develop products for the smart cities. I have 5 enterprise platforms that we built on top of each other that work together to bring us. We're in 20 countries and 30 languages now. We just were awarded the Tech Development Company of the Year. Out of 20 global companies, we got the award for the Tech Development Company, and the Department of Commerce nominated us for the Cutting Edge Technology and Global Marketplace. So I didn't come here to talk about my company. I came here to talk about what we're going to do for the city. Our bold vision, making Austin the capital of sustainable fashion. Imagine Austin. You had a retail store that you walked into. Everything was made, developed, and designed here in Austin. My goal is to open the first rental retail store here in Austin, Texas. And we're working with some multinational companies to help develop that. The other goal is we have an incubator at ACCG, which I'll go into, that we need a place for these kids to be able to get visibility of their products. That would be the second phase. The other phase is we have an on-demand factory there that we can develop on-demand products with. So basically innovation, local jobs, and environmental protection. The fashion industry is a $2 trillion global industry. We are second largest water polluter in the world. We have 11.3 million pounds of textile waste. We have 12 billion greenhouse gases. 8 to 10% of the carbon for the whole world is developed out of the fashion industry. 20% of the industrial water waste we produce, and then 85% of the textiles end up in landfills. Our goal is not to develop products that end up in. We're going to put a life cycle into the products, so we can, from concept to consumption, we can actually process the products and life cycle and be able to monitor that life cycle. Oops. All right, the solution. On-demand production. We have a factory here already at ACC that we can actually do on-demand production. Some of the latest and greatest technologies we have here. We have we're going to create local manufacturing, sustainable materials, and then Web3 technology with QR codes, RFID, and NFTs. Circular economy design. We're building products with a life cycle built into the products. Our bold vision is basically to have a retail store here that you can go in, and these kids are actually producing the products here, and everything's developed and made here in the city. I went back the wrong way, I'm sorry. There we go. All right, here's the incubator with phase 1. We have that finished. I got $13 million worth of investment capital, and we built out this facility. So it's already set up here, ready to go. The second phase was we have the trash makeover. We create $300,000 a year for sustainability for the state of Texas, and we have over 30 to 35 designers that come here each year nationally to participate in this contest. And then I have an incubator at McCallum High School, and we have anywhere from 100 to 200 kids a year in the incubator. This is the process that we're working on, is life cycle products. We're using hemp to reshore with, and we've already developed our hemp fibers. We're also...
No, we're going to have to stop you.
Okay.
You're at time.
All right, thank you. Yep.
We're going to turn it over to the judges for question and answer.
Sure. Yeah. We'll get it together.
Hello?
Hello.
Does it work? Okay. Since we didn't have time to cover this, can you share a bit more about how this prize money would be used to advance your business?
Well, my ask is for $100,000 in grants from the city and retail space to be able to develop this product. I have an agreement with one of the LA companies, and we're going to actually help the kids to develop their products and put them in the stores as designers based on judging if they're qualified to be in the stores. And then they'll get royalties from their products on the leases, on the rental, I'm sorry. Any other questions?
Yeah. So the revenue is from renting clothes, and they, presumably we bring it back after.
Right. We have an agreement that I won't go into, but we have an agreement with major companies also because they can't destroy the products anymore. It's against the law for them in countries to destroy the products. So they're going to give us the products also to put in the stores for rental. So we built the first store will be in the Beverly Center in LA, and we're going to build a second one here.
You mentioned students a couple times. What age group are you targeting for the artisans and the folks working in the shop?
At McCallum, we started the 9th grade and go through the 12th grade. And these kids basically started out, we had 20 kids, and in the last 2 years, we've had anywhere from 150 to 200 kids in the program. And they're getting scholarships to Parsons Institute of Technology and to France and Paris, to all the high-end schools out there. So we've had some groundwork, some proven things happen here already.
Sam, the slide you have on the screen right now has traditional repair. Can you tell me how repair fits into your model?
Our program is based on Sahara Bora. It's a Japanese process. Sahara is a way of patching the products. What they believe is that you can actually take an old product and give it value and turn it into art. So what we're doing is using RFID chips and QR codes, and then we'll create an NFT with the products and make it into art. Okay.
Can you tell me more about your go-to-market strategy, especially the phase one? What are you going after? What are the success metrics?
Well, phase one we are in. We've been in it for 8 years now. We've got an incubator here. We've turned out 8 years worth of kids in design. We've actually developed a second area there that have design studios in there, which we have 10 designers and staff in-house all the time now. So that's a phase one. It's been going for a while now.
Can you share a bit more about how you plan to measure the impact around circular economy, sustainability?
For every dollar invested by the city will get $4 back in return. We're also looking at how it's more so from this community standpoint, what the value is going to be, because we're giving kids and people in the community an opportunity to create jobs and build out the whole community within becoming a fashion industry here and beginning the leading edge in fashion industry here.
What's the basis of the $4 in return?
Mm-hmm. For every $1 invested, $4 in return.
How's that happen?
For the community, as far as jobs, as far as the return on the investment on most of the products, I've got negotiations in with Goodwill now to supply us with the products, and we may even have retail stores inside of the Goodwill store, inside of the stores for these kids also participate in. But there's also a place for people in retirement homes that we can also utilize them. There are a lot of women there that still have skills that we need here in our industry now. Some of the biggest problems we have is that we don't have good sewers, and we don't have robotic sewers yet, but that's coming. But right now we need sewers. So a lot of the people that are already here, and one of the biggest industries we're using right now is our sewers right now we're using from the immigrant programs. We're training the immigrants to be able to do a lot of our sewing right now. Okay, Chief Esther.
Thank you, Samuel. Up next, we have Frontier Resource Recovery, pitched by co-founders Cole Mitchell and Logan Welsh. Cole Mitchell founded Frontier Resource Recovery alongside Logan Welsh. Together, they've been advancing innovative solutions for water purification through their work on a small business innovation research grant from the Environmental Protection Agency. Their focus is the removal of PFAS, also known as forever chemicals, PFAS contaminants from biosolids using biochar. Give it up for Resource Recovery. Frontier Resource Recovery.
Not related to awesome resource recovery. We just share the last two syllables. Are we good to go, Liz? What if I told you there was an elegant way to solve two existential environmental issues that we're facing today? We're Frontier Resource Recovery, and that's what we'll be talking about.
The first part of what we work on has to do with a chemical called PFAS. If you haven't heard of it, you might have heard of it as forever chemicals. What you need to know about it is that it's a man-made chemical that we've been using for decades in products like nonstick pans or umbrellas or coats or even cosmetics that actually never breaks down naturally in the environment. It bioaccumulates, and in large amounts, it causes devastating health effects to humans and other animals. And in smaller amounts, we're still not sure exactly. But the EPA is leveling grants across the U.S. over the next few years. One of the places that they're leveling regulations is in the wastewater treatment plant industry, where this PFAS chemical is being released into the environment, and there's no clear way of dealing with it cost effectively.
The second issue is the sheer amount of agricultural waste that we produce in our industrialized society. We rely upon these large producers in rural communities to produce more products and therefore more waste than they can possibly handle in the local environmental economy. This is a picture from one of our feed yards we're working with in Hereford, Texas. This leads to massive emissions, runoff contamination, and a soil crisis that we're in the middle of right now.
So the way that we bring these two problems together is that we at Frontier work with these large organic waste producers to take their surplus waste and turn it into a proprietary version of a material called biochar. It's a carbon-based material, kind of like charcoal, and we'll pass some around here in a moment. And this material can be modified in order to actually absorb PFAS from the environment and from waste streams. And so we'll be working with these facilities to produce this on site and to use it at local wastewater treatment plants.
That's it right there. Sorry, I forgot to pass that earlier. This is our team. So we are part of a SBIR research grant through the EPA. So Talon LPE, they're one of the larger remediation companies in the Permian Basin. Frontier Resource Recovery, that's us. We do biochar project development. And West Texas A&M University, specifically Dr. Nathan Howell and Dr. Eric Butler, they're the research and innovation department.
Everything about what we do is circular. Frontier actually got started from just the thesis of just looking at how much agricultural waste there is in the world and trying to figure out a way to use it toward the highest possible value. And so that led us into biochar production, and then eventually we met some folks out in the Panhandle that we started talking to about PFAS, which is what eventually led us to where we are now. And the beautiful thing as well is that we're also exploring ways to be able to use the biochar to get the PFAS out of the environment and then still be able to use that biochar in the ground as an organic fertilizer.
This all leads to a massive economic impact right here in Austin, Texas. Our solution is 3 times more affordable than other PFAS remediation services like granular activated carbon, which leads to much more cleaner water for everyone who needs it. And that's important because the people who are affected most disproportionately by forever chemicals like PFAS and other contaminants are those who live in underserved communities where water purification is less available. If I showed you a map of PFAS contamination, it would concentrate on areas of underserved communities, so we're aiming to solve that. Also, we envision a facility here in Austin where we take the biochar that's produced in rural communities, bring it here, and activate it, sort it, get it sent out, and that facility will pay more than $40 an hour and allow for great entry jobs without any barriers.
So to date, along our winding path, we've raised $480,000, the latest of which has been from an EPA SBIR Phase 1 grant. We've recently also been invited to apply for Phase 2, which is what we're working on right now. And today we're here for a $2,000 prize that we would put directly toward running a pilot test here in Austin in partnership with the local wastewater treatment plant facility. And we'd be happy to go more into that.
Thank you for your
All
time.
right, I'm going to stop y'all there. Thank you, Frontier Resource Recovery. I'm going to turn it over to the judges for any questions.
Yeah, are there existing solutions in use at that facility that you plan to pilot with, and or is this a new solution for them?
Are you referring to the feed yard itself?
Oh, sorry, for the Central Texas pilot.
Not yet, no. So the City of Austin actually just sent out a water report a couple months ago about PFAS and contaminants like it, and so there's currently not a solution in place.
Just making sure you're capturing it, absorbing it, or adsorbing it, but you're not destroying the PFAS, right? And if so, what are the implications when it kind of gets put back into the ground and whatnot?
Yes. So the interaction with PFAS and biochar hasn't been fully fleshed out by a lot of people yet. That's part of what's in our Phase 2 proposal, actually. But that would definitely be a huge part of what we do, because if we want to ensure that we're dealing with it in a really life cycle focused way, we're gonna really spend more time on those types of insurances to make sure that this material that we worked so hard to get back from the environment doesn't end up back out there. But what we do know for sure is that from our Phase 1 project, actually, is that we were able to achieve above 99% destruction from just turning the biosolids themselves even into biochar. And so as far as the temperature conditions for biochar production, we do know of a effective way to destroy it if that's what it takes.
Can you share a bit more of how the business model is, you're expecting it to be profitable?
Yes. So we take the feedstock itself, so whether it's manure, distilled solids, poultry litter, convert to biochar on site, and then process that biochar at a centralized facility, and then sell that biochar in its activated form for anywhere from $450 to $500 is the goal. And so we get the feedstock for free to start. And so the way these processes work is that there's a kind of a zero-sum exchange with the producer themselves. And so right now at the feed yard, they have a guy who comes and cleans the pens, who composts the manure as much as he can. And they basically get a free waste management service, and he gets a free feedstock to compost and use as he wants. We're basically kind of latching on to services like that operate as a waste management service for these production facilities, and then producing our material off that and then selling it.
And to add a little bit more color as well, there are other economic streams that can be worked in. We've done a lot of work talking to people about carbon credits in the past as well. Those would also play into this. And there's also other types of contaminants that our biochar might be useful for outside of PFAS that companies would still be very interested in. This is a material that is, quite honestly, we're on the very front edge of doing research with it, but we're really excited about what we've found so far.
Do you have a sense of the ratio of to handle all the water coming out of one of Austin's treatment plants? How many tons of biochar do you need, and how does that translate to acres of agriculture? And what's that ratio look like?
Great question. We don't have an exact metric for the conversion of how much biochar we need per contaminants. So all the tests we've done so far have been pretty small lab tests. We've introduced parts per trillion of PFAS. We're dealing with micrograms, nanograms of biochar. So that ratio is still being worked out. What we do know is that we have an abundance of feedstock. And so this feed yard itself produces more than 300 tons of manure per day. And so the issue is not feedstock. And that's one of the reasons we use agricultural residues, because there's so much of it around, whether it's from distilleries or feed yards or poultry facilities. It's just a matter of making sure that's a usable form of carbon. And so then the ratio just works out. That's what we're working on in the lab right now.
All right, thank you, Frontier Resource Recovery. All right, rounding out our Circular Accelerator division, we have Holosia, pitched by co-founders Karen Ascott and Patrick Van Haren. Karen Ascott has been passionate about nutrition and health all of her life. She previously worked as an activist for environmental and related quality of life issues. She now focuses on the intersection of food, environment, agriculture, and health. She co-founded Holosia with her husband, Patrick Van Haren, who is a lifelong farmer. Since obtaining an MBA from Babson College in Boston, Patrick has spent years working for rural economic development that supports family farmers and local communities. All right, give it up for Holosia.
There's something insidious that's in our food, water, homes, soil, and even our bodies. I'm talking about microplastics. A huge source of this terrible problem is our industrial food system, which packages everything in single-use plastics. How do we fix it? Well, you've all probably heard the saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Now it's time to plant a different kind of seed. At Holosia, we're planting these seeds for a food system transformation with our project, Nature Farms. These will be large, regenerative farms, each one collectively owned and controlled by several thousand local residents. They'll be operated by professional stewards for the purpose of producing very nutrient-dense foods and improving local ecosystems. Currently, Austin and Travis County import over 99% of our food. This is a staggering $19 billion local market that we have outsourced, single-use plastics and all. Furthermore, over 1 million pounds of food are wasted in Austin per day, while 16% of our community experience food insecurity. Over recent weeks, we have conducted a number of personal in-depth interviews, including with members of strategically undervalued communities, on the topic of food and resilience. We have confirmed what you might expect. Austinites want more local, clean food. And the really amazing thing is that everybody we spoke with expressed a willingness to pay extra to ensure that their neighbors would be better fed. The demand really is here, the land is here, but the system to connect them at scale doesn't exist yet. So how do we plant this new food system today? And how does it reduce food and plastic waste? The first nature farm is the seed, and the legal framework is the soil. We'll use a special provision of the Texas Agriculture Code to create an opt-in agricultural development district with about 5,000 Austin area property owners. It's a little bit like airport bonds, but for food. So how does it work? The district issues tax-free municipal bonds to purchase large tracts of local farmland and establish a food hub. The bonds are paid back through sales of fresh and value-added foods and secured by homeowner assessments, creating a low-cost, self-sustaining economic engine. Each nature farm will eliminate all on-farm food waste, as well as 1 million pounds of single-use plastic waste per year due to our fresh produce deliveries and value-added foods in reusable packaging. And by design, this project will contribute to every single action item from the Austin-Travis County Food Plan. So the harvest from the food system transformation, per farm, nutrient-dense, locally grown foods for about 5,000 households, permanent preservation of farmland, 10 million in revenue, about 50 jobs, and improved local resilience while solving the single biggest barrier to a diverse new generation of farmers, namely access to land and capital. We're asking for the award to catalyze our seed fund, community-backed, but even more important is the confidence this award will inspire in the public. We already have several thousand emails for customers from our previous soil improvement and food ventures. They're primed to take the next step to assure long-term access to better food. This award will supercharge our marketing efforts. The best time to transform our food system was 20 years ago. Second best is now. Thank you.
Thank you, Holosia. Gonna turn it over to the judges for any questions.
Curious to go a little deeper on the business model. How are the services like delivery and the initial planting and processing of the food, how is that intended to be funded?
So the bonds actually pay for the land plus the improvements to the operations and a startup fund. So we can get 150% of the assets in the form of bonds, and that pays for all the startup and operating capital. And then farmers are expected to contribute labor themselves.
What is your proposed or expected timeline to start and launch?
So what you have to know is that a development district like this hasn't been done before, so it's going to take a bit extra time, but easily 18 to 30 months.
But we are in talks with high-level staff at Travis County Economic Development Department, and we're looking at having that district. We're working to get it approved.
Did I understand the distribution model is like a CSA program where people subscribe?
That would be our first tier minimum operations, and then we would like to go into value-added produce with our own food hub, because a lot of people are one person per household. They don't need a big vegetable box every week. They want value-added foods that are easily prepared, and that makes sense.
You'd mentioned something about reducing some of the waste of food waste that we're experiencing in Austin. How does this model contribute to that? Just kind of clarify that for me.
First of all, eliminating on-farm food waste. People who are getting fresh foods are getting directly from the farm, so it doesn't stop at the grocery store. So less waste there because it's fresh. We'll be producing value-added foods, and we've already had a food business where we did that and sold it at markets. We can compost everything in that operation and use up ugly produce, for instance, that wouldn't be sold otherwise. You have other...
I'm a farmer. I've owned and operated a compost facility here in Texas. We know the problems of marketing compost. That's why we invented this, because it is such a hard problem to sell compost here, especially good quality compost.
What's value-added food? I don't know that
And
term.
something beyond just getting raw beets. So we can produce pickled beets. We can produce pickled quail eggs. We can produce, French-style meat pate that comes in a jar in a serving size that will feed your whole family. There's just dozens of products that are possible.
Also, the circular economy. How to reuse containers and have a pickup service that takes back the containers, washes them, refills them, so that we're getting rid of all the single-use containers.
And we're exploring...
One thing you have to know is that it's an island of coherence. It's a rare opportunity to create a closed circle type of project like this with the lowest cost of capital through tax-free municipal bonds.
Can you go a little deeper into how this model would help address populations that are facing the food insecurity and food access?
So we have had included a number of people from strategically undervalued communities already in our interviews, and we are planning a workshop that will be compensated so that people can afford to come. And we are really working toward the emergent outcomes that show up through, the synergies of having a whole lot of people who are interested in the room together. We already got a lot of enthusiastic feedback from the people we've spoken to, even, those without a lot of extra cash wanting to help their neighbors eat better.
We are at time. Thank you, Holasia. That concluded the Accelerator division of this evening's competition, and we're going to move on to the Showcase division, which is our more established businesses competing for the $10,000 grand prize. First up, we have Heartening, pitched by founder Kelly Rytlewski. Kelly's zero waste mission began in the trash room of her old apartment complex, rerouting items to local causes. 2 years ago, she stood in this exact same room and pitched an early idea as part of one of the city's former programs. Today, she's here to share Heartening. She is supported by her team here tonight, Ariane Alcantara, Tracy Hawk, Ariana Peterson, Ashley Walker, Lily Batt, and Samantha Fleming.
Thank you. Think of the garments in the back of your closet, the ones you spent way too much money on and never wear. I have a place you can let those go and never overpay for clothing or feel that guilt again. My name is Kelly Rytlewski, and I'm the founder of Heartening. Whoops. And we're on a mission to put clothing back into the community as cheaply and efficiently as possible. We're in our 8th month running a free clothing stand and $3 clothing warehouse. We're in a tiny but mighty 1,500 square foot space in North Central Austin near the Crestview bus station. We don't have budget for advertising, so we rely on word of mouth, and the word is spreading. We believe in being low cost, high volume, community powered, and open to all. We believe that we as Austinites have enough clothing to go around if we make it go around. At Heartening, we're about taking clothing from the Austin community and keeping it in circulation within the Austin community, helping this city achieve its zero waste goals. The top half of this slide shows our current average weekly numbers, touching 800 people, reusing 4,500 pounds of clothing, giving away over 3,500 pieces for free. That's through our free clothing stand. While it may look tiny, it is mighty and it moves mountains. And the bottom shows our annualized numbers. We're on track to touch 32,000 people, over 90 tons of clothing, and giving away over 150,000 pieces for free. We are a living example of how to design and practice a zero-waste, community-based circular solution for clothing. Every single week, we take in 200 to 300 trash bags or more. With a small staff and volunteers, with labor and love, we will sort all of that on site, with only 2% going to recycling or downcycling and less than 0.5% by weight going to landfill. Those are items that are so badly degraded, peeling, or otherwise unusable. That means that 97.5% is our take rate of items being taken and reused from our warehouse or our free clothing stand. That is a number we are incredibly proud of. Of the customers served, the vast majority are women, 79%. Over half are Hispanic or African American. We also serve as a resource for many nonprofits and social workers who regularly frequent our free clothing stand and $3 clothing warehouse to supply their own outreach. Ultimately, we're putting back over 25,000 garments back into the Austin community every single month. We're doing that right now. With $10,000, these are 3 things we desperately need. 1, weatherproofing for our free clothing stand. Turns out Texas storms bring sideways rain and 40-mile-an-hour winds, which our fabric flaps are no match for. 2nd, we are setting up the bare bones start to our mini mending lounge, which is space for 2 people to work side by side repairing clothing during operating hours. The bottom photo shows a whole mending class that we popped up after hours. We hope to offer more free and low-cost mending, repairing, and upcycling classes to the community, and we're looking for your support to help subsidize those costs. Finally, we're looking at raising wages for our small, hardworking team to $25 an hour because our research shows that's living wage in Austin. We're hoping to do that by Q4 and hire another part-time member to keep our doors open on weekdays, which our customers want till 8 p.m. This is our contribution and value proposition to Austin. We offer free and $3 clothing to anyone. We don't ask questions. Our scalability, our goal is to expand to in 2027 to a 5,000 square foot space to be our flagship location. We've created 6 part-time jobs since May. We are about recapturing value and distributing that value back into our community as cost savings through clothing. And our 2025 impact is estimated to be $1.2 million. This isn't just a plan, this is a practice. We are a living example of circularity and sheer determination in action. We need to know that this city sees our vision for a future with zero clothing waste in Austin. We are stretched thin, we are battling burnout, but we have great press and support from the community. So we are begging you, take a look at what we've done and how far we've come with so little.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, I'm going to turn it over to the judges for any questions.
I'm still a little unsure on how the business model, so it's donated clothes and sold for $3, and that's
There's a free clothing stand and there's a $3 clothing warehouse, right? So of the stuff we get in, the majority is actually given back in the free clothing stand, and only a portion is sold in the warehouse. But yes, we've already more than made back our setup costs. We are profitable right now. And we are paying our staff, currently $23 an hour. We have a large participation in volunteers, which really helps lift that. In fact, it was just me alone with volunteers up until May. So just think of that. And 2 years ago, I was working out of my car, picking up items off of porches, building a website when I pitched on this stage 2 years ago.
Your metrics are just astonishing. Congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you for appreciating them.
That's
because those are numbers we take really seriously, and we count every bag, every pound. We weigh our trash. Like people come into our store sometimes with like a drink or something, like, "Hey, will you throw this away for me?" And we're like, "No, we weigh our trash here. You need to take that back with you. And by the way, that's recyclable. Thank you." We don't mess around.
The 97.5% stat of usable clothes, that seems shocking to me. Like
that's take rate. Yeah.
Where does that compare? What does that compare to like Goodwill or something?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked. So I've done the research, and in most thrift stores in America, it's actually about 50% is sold in store. The textile trade is very big. Goodwill is a participant in it, and there's good and bad sides. It's a gray area, right? A lot of it gets shipped overseas to developing countries, and those countries have buyers that are buying those pallets, but they don't have the infrastructure necessarily to deal with the items in those pallets that are waste. So Goodwill, in their reports, they will actually say that their ultimate recycle rate is, the waste rate is something less than 10%, but they're also not counting how much they're exporting of our waste outside. So what we want is people in Austin to change that mindset. Imagine drawing a line outside the city. The clothing that we generate and the waste and consumption within our city, let's solve for it within our city. That's very different mindset than a place like Goodwill. Fundamentally different.
I actually live very close to Crestview. I haven't seen this, but look forward to swinging by.
If you had a TikTok or an Instagram, you would have.
Yeah, I'm curious, as you've thought about scaling to the 5,000 square foot facility on your roadmap, looking at kind of impacting more parts of the community, have you looked at kind of taking this model and scaling it as well with the free clothing option as opposed to the large warehouse? And how do you kind of weigh the benefits of a decentralized approach versus having one large central facility?
So we've actually seen, that was exactly my biggest strategy question of the last 3 months is, do we create multiple locations or do we go towards a flagship model? And it's something that one of the trends that's happened is people are coming from San Antonio, people are coming from San Marcos, people who are in town visiting their friends saw the TikTok videos and the Instagram, and they bring their family and friends and make a stop. So we're becoming more of a destination that people come to and experience. Wow, this is something Austin-y. We've made it because we're getting the bachelorette parties, y'all. Okay? So this is becoming something that friends and family want to take their other friends and family to. And we're not quite hitting that critical mass on areas like children's clothing or maternity clothing. Some of these subsets have very niche, and we need to get our selection a little bit bigger. So we actually are feeling super constrained by our current space. We need at each location to really be in that 5,000 square foot model. I'm convinced that's the critical minimum space to make this concept fully operable the way we want. We are still very much constrained and working with what we have. We use every single inch. When you come by, you're gonna be like, oh wow. We have sweaters stacked all the way up almost to the ceiling in a 16 height ceiling in there.
How'd you land at the $3 versus $4 or $5? Or $6?
I actually studied and dropped off clothing at over 200 nonprofits in the first year when I was working out of my car. And I started dropping off at a lot of church clothing closets, a lot of, free sober living houses, and noticed their models. They were actually charging. They were charging $2, $1, $1.50, $3, $4 for a suit.
All right, Kelly, I'm sorry. I've got to stop you right there. Thank you so much. I'm going to remember to pass this to the next person. Up next, we have Up next, we have Wanderlust Wine Co., pitched by owner and founder Sammy Lamb. Sammy Lamb is the founder of Wanderlust Wine Co., a minority family-operated winery that is recognized as a Platinum Green Business Leader by the City of Austin. He leads the company's innovation in circular wine packaging and community initiatives across Central Texas. Let's give it up for Sammy.
How's it going, everybody? That's Pops right there, family operated. Let's hit it. It's great to see familiar faces here once again, and those are 3-year-old canteens because we've been pitching 3 years straight, so you know that they are circular, constantly in use. My name is Sammy. I'm the owner and founder of Wanderlust Wine Company. We're here to talk about our wine retail packaging that is looking to disrupt the high-volume stadiums and event spaces here, and starting with Austin, but all across the state of Texas. We're going to go through a circular perspective on our business and what we've got going on. We'll start with the industry. The Texas wine industry has around a $24 billion impact to our state's economy. And some big names that you'll notice as Austin continues to become a big CPG hub for brands are, for example, BuzzBalls and Beatbox. Whether you like it or not, they're killing it. And they've got $1 billion valuation for BuzzBalls, recently acquired by Sazerac, and Beatbox just up the road from us, a $400 million valuation. That's great for us, whether it's an exit or an acquisition. We're in for the long run, baby. So let's get to it. In terms of Wanderlust, we started in 2020, a year where we all needed some wine, and we expanded to 3 locations. We're a small minority-owned, family-operated business. We focus primarily on stainless steel kegs for our wine sales and service, quickly becoming a sustainability leader in our Texas wine industry for sustainable packaging, and becoming quickly the world's largest wine-on-tap winery through our heavy use of stainless steel kegs. Again, circular perspective on our business, who we are, what we're doing. We're heavily involved in our community outside of just packaging in terms of events through our 3 tasting rooms. Through sustainable events just like Austin Swampin'. We hold leadership roles in our Texas trade associations like TWIGA. We give back where we can, recently raising $50,000 for the Kerr County Floods Relief Program through Grapes of Good, making change through our passion, and currently continue to be involved with DECA and Diversity Chambers to uplift our future leaders of Austin. When it comes to our local economic impact, we typically get upwards of 20 full-time employees year after year, and then we increase our year after year with events, pop-ups. We're right now over 50 part-time and seasonal employees, which is outstanding and continues to grow with our wholesale distribution. Now, when it comes to our partners, suppliers, vendors, and staff, we tap into a diverse network of individuals, as diverse as the wines we probably get to serve our community. We're minority majority, I'm proud to say, and we're women-led. In fact, 3 of our women who are here in the building recently were recognized as finalists for the Women in Business Awards by the Austin Business Journal, which is a huge feat for us, continue to make progress through our passion. Now, what is it that we're doing? Well, we're tackling a problem, how wasteful our industry is when it comes to its packaging, primarily use of single-use glass bottles, which, as you can see here, end up in the landfill. That is the equivalent of 1 pallet of wine that, even if there are recyclable opportunities within the district or jurisdiction, because of the high cost of energy or just the cost of doing it, it just might not be done, and ultimately can end up in the landfill, which is why we really focus on stainless steel kegs. And through this circular design, these kegs can last up to 30 years with multiple uses, rinse and repeat, as they say. Now, we've had great success doing this for a few years, and we've diverted annually over 500,000 glass bottles from ending up in the landfills through the primary use of kegs. We've supported City of Austin zero waste goals, but even with all these accomplishments, our market viability is thwarted. And that is because not everybody has a keg program. As you see here, our friends over at the Long Center were able to allow us to adapt our keg systems into their facilities, and they've currently saved over 25,000 glass bottles or diverted 25,000 glass bottles. It's a healthy profit concept. However, as you see here, we've got a lot of sideline businesses that are interested in working with us, but they wanted us to do something different. So, dun, dun, dun. Our retail packaging right here, stainless steel. So it's the same as a keg, but in a packaging right here that can be reused, recycled, repurposed, and bring customers back to our tasting rooms with incentives. And that is why we want 10K, so we can get our first fulfillment done for the San Antonio Spurs, which is awesome because I'm a big San Antonio guy myself. And with that, thank you so much, and I'm open to questions. Whoa, I'm out of breath.
Thank you, Sammy. Judges, any questions?
You mentioned 2 other companies
Yes.
who recently raised funds. What are they doing, and how different are you from those guys?
Great question. You're talking about Buzz Balls and Beatbox. So both of them have actually paved the way for alternative and innovative packaging in terms of the market. They're focusing on different parts of the market themselves. Buzz Balls, you'll see them everywhere. C-stores, grocery stores. They're actually starting to lock them up because people are just taking them. It's crazy. They've become so successful, and especially now with their acquisition through Zazarak. But they've got mainly a retail-specific focus. We're going to be more high-volume accounts and venues and stadiums, starting right here with Austin, especially with the high demand from Moody Center, Long Center, and hopefully right now, the Spurs. Let's go. Beatbox, for example, they are focused heavily on festivals. When you consider Beatbox, you see them everywhere. ACL, as a matter of fact, coming around the corner, they're focused on these. We're talking a lot with them because they're literally our neighbors, and we want to make sure that we're not competing with them, but rather finding parallel worlds so that hopefully there may be an acquisition opportunity where they actually want to buy into our business, especially just being down the road. And as a matter of fact, we are working with the same category of wine-based cocktails. As you can see right here, we do work with wines, but also with wine-based cocktails. And that is one of the biggest categories that are exploding right now. RTDs, ready-to-drink cocktails, are what people want, and these grab-and-go containers are the solution that all the stadiums are looking for. These are half a bottle right here, which is TABC compliant, 2 glasses of wine. You can take it straight back to your seat and enjoy, continue watching Chappelle Roan or Creed. I think they're making a comeback.
You didn't mention where the wine that's in the containers is coming from. Is that?
Yes, Texas is where we're headed. We started with Spain because we were looking for high quality wines at a great price to hit our COGS and our margins. But right now, we're really focusing on these big partnerships. Texas is actually struggling right now as a wine industry, and us using this to catapult our industry and continue to drive that big economic impact is one of the biggest things. Something that you can be proud of when you go and sip at a local Texas venue or stadium. You're drinking Texas wine, high quality wines. We're excited about those partnerships, and our wine-based cocktails are produced here in Dripping Springs.
Hi, Sammy. A lot of great progress, and I love the environmental impact you shared. I need a little bit more clarity on what exactly the solution is. Is it around the retail? Because you gave some great examples of the large customers, and just clarify exactly.
For sure. So one of the biggest questions we got year after year was, how does this go back into circularity and use? Capturing was the biggest question, Bar. I think you were the one that asked that. So I sat for a year with this question. Even when we capture stainless steel, amazing. Again, 3 years, you can bang these up. We can reuse them, sanitize, and get them back into the market, hopefully bringing a touch point back to the customers, to our tasting rooms. We want to incentivize capture stations, whether it's a facility to have these recycled cardboard stations to bring those containers back. If they're not viable enough to put back into the market, because as you can tell, singular container, the only thing that changes is the label. Now, as time allows and budget allows, soy ink, recyclable, degradable, compostable. If it's not able to be reintroduced into the market or into the circular solution, then it would be recycled, and we actually are right next to the meadow scrapyard, so you can actually get some good bang for your buck for these, which can also feed into a philanthropic approach of giving back to the community if the product cycle has ended. Ooh, I'm shaking.
All right, I think you got through a lot there. We only have about 10 seconds left anyways.
Awesome.
But thank you, Sammy. Up next, we have Co-Carbon, pitched by co-founder and CEO Aldo Galli. Aldo is a Peruvian MBA candidate at the University of Texas's McCombs School of Business with over 8 years of experience in finance, sustainability, and operations across Latin America. He is the co-founder and CEO of Co-Carbon, a clean tech startup. They produce activated carbon from agricultural waste to improve water access in vulnerable communities starting in Peru. Give it up for Aldo.
Thank you. Probably we normally don't think about the water that we drink every day, okay? So what we're doing, and we've done already, we have been doing this for 7 years in Peru, is trying to democratize access to safe water. So what's the problem? We have two big problems right now. We have billions of people without access to water, and we have billions of agro waste all around the world. This is happening not only all around the world, but in Texas. We have communities in Waco to Brady is one of the cities that are most impacted with this. And because the current method that is not sustainable and expensive, we are not able to bring them clean and safe water 24 hours, 7 days of the week. So what's our solution? We already did this. We can produce a high-performance activated carbon base from agricultural waste in a sustainable way using solar power and biomass energy. And with this low-cost, replicable, and scalable technology, we can get a 50% cheaper product for any client that could be water treatment or any other process. This is our process. We use coconut shells in our pilot plant. The process is in 6 steps. We use the coconut shell, we transform it into activated carbon. In the transformation, we recover the CO2 gases. We synthesize them into a liquid that can be sold to fertilizer producers. And then we generate 3 things. We generate the revenues. Part of this goes to research funding in the impact zone, and part of this goes to plant more trees so we can ensure our supply chain. How's our impact? We have these 4 elements. We reduce waste. We reduce carbon also because our process is carbon neutral. with clean water, and we have economic empowerment in the impact region. Finally, our market, as I mentioned, we tackle the water treatment industry, but we can tackle the petrochemical, pharmaceutical, even the metallurgy. If you know, like gold recovery all around the world is done with activated carbon, normally from coconut shells. So this is our team, me, my wife, who is here right now, and our COO. We both are MIT Innovators Under 35, and we have been working with 4 very, very useful mentors back in Peru, and we want to replicate the same thing here. We ask for any amount of money that we can have to fund the research here in Texas using pecans, using different types of agro waste. We are working with the Cockrell School of Engineering from UT Austin, and we would like to keep developing this, bringing this solution that we already proved works in Peru here to Austin. Thank you.
Thank you, Aldo. We'll turn it over to the judges for questions.
I'm curious to learn what the current supply chain is for activated carbon and how your solution is able to disrupt that. On what basis? Is it pricing, volume, quality?
You mean the supply chain, like how it works, or?
Well, activated carbon you mentioned is used already in certain processes. What is the source of that activated carbon? Where is it coming from? How is it produced compared to your method? What's unique about what you're doing?
Okay, we haven't changed. I mean, normally what you do is you take the agricultural waste, you transform it into activated carbon, and then you sell it. So it's as that. So how you get the, for example, how you ensure your supply chain for the raw material, in our case, coconut shells. What we started to do back in Peru is we, for example, went to the people that already work, producers like farmers. They work with the coconut shells, with coconut, and they transform the coconut into meat or water, right? But we went there and they were like piling up all this stuff. So we went, take this, and that's our raw material. Our raw material is waste, basically. So it used to be like zero cost, but then they started to charge us. And well, the next step of that, we said like, hey, and how should we do it right now? And we started to like get the coconuts, and we use machines, these machines over here. Cheap machines, you can get them like anywhere in China. So we use these machines to transform the coconut into shells, water and pulp. We give them back to the farmers. We don't charge them from this, and we keep the coconut shells. In that way, we ensure that we're gonna have a constant flow of raw material. I don't know if that solves that.
Yeah, thank you. And the CO2 that you're recovering, in what form is that? Is it in the biochar itself or the activated carbon?
Okay, so the difference between our friends from Frontier, which is amazing guys. So the activated carbon has 2 processes. The first one is biochar, basically. So we carbonize it, right? And then when you already carbonize it, you transform it then into activated carbon. So like the first process is just pyrolysis, you carbonize it. In the second process, you release gases from that process, basically CO2. So you can catalyze that CO2 into a liquid. It's very easy. I mean, these processes have existed for, I think, like 30 years. So you catalyze this into water, into a liquid CO2, and small fertilizer producers from the zone use it for producing their regular fertilizer. Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit more about your client base? Is it water treatment plants in Peru? Is it also here? Is it in other countries?
Yeah, we have small water treatment plants, some mining companies also, because this is a luxurious product in the activated carbon market. Making activated carbon from coconut shells is very difficult. It's not as difficult. I mean, it's very easy to do it from pecans, for example. This is one of the most complex, and we've done this. So mainly our clients are small. I remember, I think it was 3 years ago, we get an inquiry from the biggest water treatment plant in Peru, but they were asking for millions of tons that we don't produce. So, I mean, basically that's it. Like we just reach out. By that time, I mean, 7 years ago, we just reach out, cold calls, cold emails to clients, and we got like big contracts that now have already, they have hired all our production already.
Just to make sure, so is the focus in Peru as far as the customers across these different industries, or is it other countries as well?
The idea is to bring this exact model here. So again, we were using pecans. That's what we were going to do the research with the Cochrane School of Engineering. Used pecans or different other elements to produce activated carbon. Thank you.
Thank you, Aldo. All right, last but not least, we have Save the Good Stuff, pitched by manager Ryan Guggenheim. Ryan has been part of the Save the Good Stuff team since October of 2023. He wears many different hats there and is responsible for their salvaging, sales, and inventory curation. He's also joined tonight by some of his team members, including architectural historian and morale booster, Lori Martin, design and Photoshop wizardess, Zoe Behan, and owner and courier preservationist, Terry O'Connell. Give it up for Ryan.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and this is fun for me to go last. So I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Ryan Guggenheim. I'm a preservationist here in Austin and manager of Save the Good Stuff. We are a local architectural salvage business founded by preservation architect Terry O'Connell at the end of 2023. Our mission and focus is on the rescue and reuse of vintage and historic building materials in the Austin area. One of the biggest threats that the city of Austin faces right now is the pace of demolition that is taking place along our ever-changing development culture. And in order to preserve our city, a big part of combating that pace of demolition is having a means to account for that material that is being lost. We are currently the only architectural salvage business in the city of Austin doing the work that we are doing. We focus on selective demolition, not full service deconstruction, but in our current model, we recognize the value that we are preserving character defining features, and that is what our current capacity and framework supports in our current business model. This is a graph released by the City of Austin in 2022 showing demolition permit summary by zip code and type. What you will notice on this graph, the bars highlighted in yellow show residential demolition permits released in 2022. The zip codes that have the greatest peaks are 78702, that is the east side of town. You have 78703, that is Clarksville and Old West Austin. You have 78704, which is South Austin, and then you have 78757, Crestview, Brentwood, and North Austin. And so those are some of our most character-defining neighborhoods in this city, a range of ages, but they're all under threat. And so what people don't recognize is the loss. And so what's so special about the building that we're in this evening is that the character-defining features in this building remain. And that is so important to what we're able to experience in being in this space right now. A part of our solution and what we're asking for, as I have 2 minutes, is that we are currently, our current operations, we are dependent on a U-Haul based truck rental model. And while we have had steady growth in the past year and a half, our sales for at the end of 2024, we closed with only $10,000 in sales, and currently we're projected to clear $60,000 at the end of 2025. That's over a 500% increase in a year and a half. It shows that we have a demand, we have a market, and we have a customer base. The market is never ending. There are always going, as far as a source of material, there are always going to be buildings that are going to be torn down in this city, and there's always going to be the need for that material to be accounted for and saved. It is a part of preserving our historic fabric. And so a part of our solution is that in order to increase our capacity to go out and salvage, we are intending to use the prize money from this event to purchase a dedicated Save the Good Stuff moving vehicle. It ranges U-Haul sells used retired vehicles that range in price from $7,000 to $10,000. We find the use of the money from this competition would be a very clean application for our business model and would be a direct application to our increased capacity and ability to go out into the environment. And so this is an example salvage that we've saved over the past year and a half. This is our storeroom. Our team, it is myself, our social media and marketing and inventory management, Katie Cahill, and ownership is Terry O'Connell. Our investment and funding, we're asking for this money so that we can continue to go out and save the good stuff. It is something that goes often, for as much as people appreciate Austin Americana in the what is created. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, we're going to turn it over to the judges. Any questions?
Can you explain how it works? So you go and you salvage it and you refurbish it, you store it, you sell it. How does it work?
We have a retail based storeroom in the historic Baker School in Central Austin. We are located in less than 800 square feet. We are lean and mean. We have a small space, but we will go out and salvage that material. We either receive it on donation. There's multiple sources, and then that material then comes back to our storeroom. Depending on the condition, we will sometimes make small repairs or improve upon the condition of something just enough to meet the baseline of quality of material that we have in our storeroom. But then we are open to the public Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And so we are public facing. We are a retail space, and the public is able to come in. And we are a resource for preservation-minded homeowners, renters, anybody who appreciates the depth of vintage and historic building materials and the inherent quality that those materials possess.
And just from the business model side, have you started to stabilize enough where you have a sense of the dollar value per ton or per square foot at the house you're
We have not gotten to that point in our metric. It has primarily been myself. I'm our salvager. I will have help from time to time, but we are a smaller operation. And so I do this work, and we do this work because it comes from a deep place of caring and watching our city changing so fast and wanting to act as some form of accountability measure to counteract that. And so we are still too early in our model to be able to calculate the percentage of material and what that metric is as far as what is the percentage we are actually saving from the landfill end of every year. So this is our first crack at accounting for that loss of material and our limited capacity doing selective salvage work.
Do you have a sense of how much is going back into the neighborhoods it was sourced from, or is it being distributed kind of more broadly?
The majority of our material is being purchased by local Austin residents, and so it is going directly back into vintage and historic properties where those pieces have been parted out previously, and then that material then is given the opportunity to bring character back into those homes, and then that material's lifespan is then extended another 100 years, hypothetically, where if we were not a last stance and an acting, and if we were not coming in at the 11th hour, that material would be irretrievably lost, and whatever energy went into making that would be lost, and you would not. So we're providing an opportunity, one, for character, but also for the life cycle and usage of these materials. And so it's as much about the maintaining our historic fabric as it is about reuse.
Do you already have a projection of sales for next year? And what are your kind of marketing plans to grow your revenue?
So our marketing plans, we did hire a part-time marketing manager in the middle of this year, end of last year. And so we have been, a big push for us has been reaching out to, it's been very much a grassroots marketing campaign. We have been reaching out to local contractors, interior designers, architects, preservation-minded homeowners, but it's been largely preservation focused, but we also are trying to increase our reach separate from just the preservation community. So primarily our marketing has taken place through social media and email format, but we have not gotten to a broader outreach as far as how we're promoting our programming throughout the city. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. All right, y'all, let's give all the competitors one more giant round of applause. All right, so before we break y'all into networking and you telling the competitors how awesome they are and how wonderful they did, I'd like to tell you about some of the other programming that the Circular Economy team at the city does. We do business innovation initiatives. That includes large events like this, some connect and shares and meetups. We also put on the Circular Accelerator program. And then we also do one-on-one business engagement meetings to hear from folks what their experience and how we can best support them from the city. We encourage residential behavior change. We have multiple programs that support that, including our repair program, Fix It Austin. We have a West Campus Move Out initiative that encourages students to divert their materials from landfills and donate them instead. And then we also lead by example within our internal city operations by providing them with education and initiating some circular initiatives within other city departments. If you want to learn more about what we do and learn about our upcoming events, including a Fix-It clinic in a couple of weeks, you can head to austintexas.gov/circulareconomy. And then one last thing, I know I said one last thing, I promise this is the last thing. We'd love to know what y'all thought about tonight's event. If you don't have your phone out already, now is the time to take it out of your pocket or wherever you've got it. Scan that QR code, take a couple of minutes to let us know how we did, what you enjoyed, and how we can improve for next time. We will see y'all when we're done tallying the scores. All right, this is the Circular Accelerator Division. Remember, these are the early stage businesses that we're pitching for a $2,000 prize. If I call your name, please come up and join us on stage. And if you'd like to say a word, you're welcome to. All right, so without further ado, the Circular Accelerator prize goes to Frontier Resource Recovery. Would y'all like to say anything?
Thank you, guys. Thank you to the City of Austin for letting us pitch tonight. You've been at this event before. It's a great event. It's great to see what all the other businesses are doing here. So thank you guys for this opportunity. This money will be well spent on research, and so we're hoping to have cleaner water for us all very soon. Thank you very much.
All right, the moment you've all been waiting for. The grand prize winner of $10,000 is Heartening. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you. This moment is so special to us, y'all, and especially to me. It's such an honor to just get a moment to appreciate how much we've done, especially in the last 2 years from this moment on this stage 2 years ago to where we are today. It is such a moment of pride and satisfaction for us, and this is such a vote of confidence in us, in what you see in our vision and our progress. And this amount of value, we look at every penny that gets dropped in our donation jar, and we look at that as a multiplier. So this number is going to multiply in value that we give back to the Austin community, and we are so excited for some mending classes, for our mending lounge to start, for our free stand to get weatherproofed. I have so much gratitude for all of you and the various people who've walked through our space and supported us as we've popped up from a little 300 square foot donation sorting room to the bigger warehouse that we're in now. It's been such a joy and a journey, and an unexpected one at that. So thank you so much for being a part of it. I really appreciate it.
Concludes our program for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next May for the 2026 Circular Showcase.